Please. Poštovani učesnici na
esteemed participants, it gives me great honor and pleasure to open this summit, the Western Balkan Summit, organized by the esteemed magazine, The Economist. My pleasure is even greater to know that we all are together here today, dear colleagues from the region, business people, ambassadors, politicians, and numerous friends. We are expecting our colleague from Kosovo to arrive any minute now and join the debate at the Summit of Economists in Athens that was held in June of this year, pointed to the importance
isključivo so zajednička.
This can be done only through joint cooperation with countries in the region, the European Union, the United States, and all the friendly countries with committed dedication and work and trust in better future. So I'm very proud that North Macedonia has reached an agreement with Greece and that today we are NATO member state, which means security and safety, but outright a possibility and opportunity for economic development, investment, and economic prosperity. Our state has met all the conditions for outset of negotiations for EU integration, which has been confirmed without any reservation by the European Commission. So my thanks go to all the EU member states who have given us the unreserved support and are still continuing to give this support throughout this entire process. Special token of gratitude goes to the Prime Minister of Greece, Mr. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, for the committed and visible support in the past couple of months. And certainly, I extend great thanks for the continued support to the United States of America. I would like to commend the organizers for the precisely selected topics which truly affect the North Macedonia, the Western Balkan, and the world, especially when it comes to the issue of economic progress in the post-COVID period, the stability, better standard, and economic development. I'd like to bid welcome to the Prime Minister of Albania, Mr. Albin Kurti. Albin, welcome. In light of this, it is precisely the topic of this year's summit, promoting European inclusiveness and solidarity, which is in the focus of the Western Balkan state on their path towards the European Union. So it gives me great pleasure that today, at the Economist Summit, we're going to hear out the expectations of the European Union and the Western Balkans, and that we will have the opportunity to discuss the challenges in the post-COVID economies that all of us are faced with. So it's my opinion that it is of utmost importance that we jointly discuss the issues of the future steps leading to bigger growth of the economy and the implementation of the economic reforms, the social cohesion, competitiveness, the financial systems, the business partnerships, and all of this in the context of our joint path and vision towards EU accession. So it's important that we hear out all the security challenges and the context of security policy, as well as the priorities of the United States of America regarding the Western Balkans. My dear friends, the government of North Macedonia is working with full commitment to the economic development of the state, to opening new and better paid jobs by investments, new investments in the country, and fair market and investment conditions, both fair conditions for the domestic and for the foreign investments. In light of this, our commitment for developing a predictable business ambience, establishing mechanisms for the rule of law, leading stable economic policies, and creating favorable investment conditions, all of this has already been confirmed. The new investments increase economic activities in the country. As the crisis goes away, the reform recovers, which gives promises for growth in the near future, namely, owing to the 5.6% growth in the first half, that is 13.1% only in the second quarter of this year, growth, Recently, the World Bank as well increased its forecast for development of the GDP of North Macedonia for 2021 from 3.6 to 4.6%. Our projections for this year is that growth can even exceed 4.1%, with an expectation that exports shall denote a growth of 10.6% and gross investments shall denote a growth of 8%. The employment rate from the end of 2020 until present day is on the rise again, with a pace that is like the pace before the pandemic, with a growth of 1.5% in the past 3 quarters. Unemployment is now at the 15.9 level, which is the lowest ever in the more recent Macedonian history. So it was reduced by 4.8% compared to the same period in 2020, actually. In addition to this, based on the official statistical data, the average net wage in the country is continually rising. So in the month of June of 2021, the average net wage per employee was 28,000 denars, 764 denars, which is a bit over 460 euro. In spite of the visible signs of optimism for the near future, things in economy can change overnight. Lately, Europe and the entire world actually starts to fear inflation, which is a result of structural and other shifts in the post-COVID period, but also the high and unstable price of electricity. So such trends can be imported, can spill over in North Macedonia and across the Western Balkans. We are open market after all. So the government here is committed to guiding coordinated monetary and fiscal policy and remains present to and vigilant to intervene in order to buffer any unwanted price shocks. Ladies and gentlemen, let me dwell a little bit on the basic topic of this summit. So first and foremost, I send across a direct message to all the investors to invest in North Macedonia. So with a couple of words, I'd like to argument on this message of mine. So the mass immunization and the recovery of the global economy has already noted a positive effect on the demand for Macedonian exports. In light of this, based on the analysis of the 3 quarters of this year, in the technological industrial development zones of North Macedonia, we have denoted a visible higher level of economic activity compared to the same period in the past 4 years. So only in the 3rd quarter, exports amounted to 696 million euro worth, which is the highest level in the past 4 years. In addition, in the January-September period of this year, export activity in the industrial zones has reached 2,234 million euro, which is 39% higher than last year's period. Compared to 2019, when there was no COVID, this growth, it's 9% higher compared to 2018. So our expectations is that this trend will continue in the years to come. So according to estimates, the exports can amount 3 billion euro at the annual level, which will be a record, all-time record level so far. In addition to this, according to statistical data, national data, the value of total exports, in addition to the free processing zone exports, in the January-August period of this year, amounts to 4.6 billion euro. Which is a growth of 31.5% compared to the same period of last year. These arguments, these proofs, speak that we are exiting the crisis safely. In addition to the slow recovery of the global economy, all the indicated positive trends are results of the new concept of the government to attract investments in the development zones and in general investments in the country as a whole. And it's based on analysis of the 10-year investment plans, based on which we evaluate the capacity of the company and the investments. And thus, we prepare individualized packages, of course, in line with European rules. The support and the subsidies can reach up to 50% of the investment itself. The effect of the government economic policies for supporting, subsidizing economy and to increase the competitiveness of the companies are evident. So in 2017, when we adopted the law on financial support to investments, there were 27 agreements for supporting domestic and foreign investments. Presently, we have 240 such agreements with companies with huge investment cycles. Only in 2021, up until present day, we are reviewing over 150 new applications for subsidizing investment cycles, and I hope that over 110 of them will be confirmed. By mid-October, when the process for this year is supposed to finish, we will have over 360 active agreements for supporting investments from domestic and foreign companies outside of the technological investment development zones. When we add these, we will end up with a figure of 420 companies which are subsidized by the government. And these support cycles to the economies are valued for 5 to 10 years. So another encouraging fact is that great many companies are increasing the number of staff and expanding their production on top of that. So all of this is a result of the predictable business climate in the country. On the other hand, equally important is that the government economic team is continually working with great commitment to preparing plans for the future midterm development of the country. Thus forth, the adopted intervention plan for investment 2021-2027 in the total of amount of 8.9 billion euro encompasses all the investments which are expected to set out in the country, including the private investments of domestic and foreign investors. So we are investing in infrastructure, in roads, in schools, in sports and health facilities, and everything that has a lasting value for citizens and does impact the improvement of the economy. Thus, we are direct support to the domestic economy as well. Our focus is dominantly focused, just like the focus of all of Europe, above all on energy development, digitalization, and investment in advanced technologies, as well as development of all sectors and industrial sectors. I have the biggest investment in the history of the Macedonian economy, worth over 500 million euro from the German company VPD. 69 windmills shall be installed in the eastern part of the country, between Kriva Palanka and Kumanova, that will create over 400 megawatts of electricity from the Macedonian wind. So this wind park will be the biggest installation of renewable energy sources in North Macedonia and the biggest wind park in all of the countries in Western Balkans. So the intervention plan for investments is complementary, which is the recovery plan for funding accelerated growth. And this plan shall only corroborate the conclusion that North Macedonia is a country with predictable conditions and climate for investors, because it does contain all the necessary aspects which are of primary value or importance for domestic and foreign investors. So this plan is an indication of the sources of funding, the areas, the sectors in which there will be investments, the financial instruments which are attractive for the investors. It will be an indication of entire map for investment, including measures for buffering, mitigating any unwanted risks during the implementation. So dear friends, I do hope that I was convincing in my message that investing in North Macedonia is a cost-effective business endeavor. In addition to the above, just with a perspective on the future, in North Macedonia we're planning support to the so-called green investments of digitalization, and especially for strengthening the health and education system as the foundation for human resource capital. So we need to work towards building a united, inclusive and sustainable economy. So this important event that we are holding here today is yet another step to the improvement of policies based on evidence and research, friendship and cooperation, which are of vital importance for the government and should be applicable in all the government policies. I'm deeply convinced that we are on the right path to achieving all of those. I wish you a very successful summit, and I thank greatly all the sponsors who have made possible that we gather here today. And once again, a warm welcome to all the guests in Skopje. Thank you very much.